All right, it's time to go ice fishing. We're about a week out here from good solid ice locally, so I've been getting all my gear and all my stuff gathered up, and I thought I'd do a little gear dump with you guys and show you the tip downs that I run. You're going to see a lot of those with me fishing this year, so I'm going to kind of go over them, and it's something that a lot of people aren't too familiar with quite yet. They're fairly new, but these tip downs are bucket fillers. But anyways, I run the Predator Striker Ice bibs. Really like them. They're super warm, and even when it's warm out, they're actually comfortable and you don't get too hot. And then I do have the jacket also, which I don't wear very often, but like if you're out in the Dakotas, when that wind's pounding like 40 miles an hour and you're sitting outside, this jacket is the key, I'm gonna tell you. Or like Petenwell or some of these bigger lakes where you gotta ride out 1.5 miles or 2 miles when it's 8 below zero, you really appreciate that jacket, even if I don't wear it all day. But fish finders. I have 2 Helix 7s. One's just their regular ice version, and then the other one is the Gen 3 down imaging, side imaging unit, which I actually really like that unit better than the other one. It seems like it's easier to dial in and more sensitive. So that's what I'm running for that. Underwater cameras. We got the little mini Aqua View. I think it's the 4.3 or something, the Stealth. But it's super handy for scouting out like sloughs, and I'll even take it out in the summer and the spring, when I'm on a different slough or something like that on the Wisconsin river bottoms, and I can just pop it down and see what's down there. Works great for scouting new spots. It's super small and compact, fits right in your pocket, which I really like. This is something that I just picked up. Gonna be new to me this year, but it's the Markham Pursue HD, and let me get this open. So it is a recordable underwater camera, and it shoots like 1080p I think, and it's just got a little side thing where you can put a memory card in, pop it out, put it in the computer, and I can record footage under the water or whatever I want to record. So I thought that was going to be something pretty neat to throw in the arsenal this year and get some underwater footage, maybe some eats. So kind of cool. Rods. I am running tuned up custom rods. I have 3 precision noodles and a couple of their bullwhips. They're longer rods, they're like 32, but I do so much fishing in the hub when it's cold that it doesn't matter what the size is. I have a flip over too, and like these 34 inches, 36 inches can be just a hair too long. But I really like the tuned up custom rods. They're just, especially these precision noodles, like you need a spring bobber on some of them and some of them you don't. Depends on your jig size. If you're getting down to those really tiny little jigs, then you're gonna want a spring bobber. But if you're fishing those 4 or 5 millimeter size ones, you don't need a spring bobber at all. They're so sensitive to the tip. And I mean, this is the bullwhip even, but I mean, you could tell they just load up so nice. Like there's always pressure on the fish, even if he comes swimming up, just always seems like there's pressure on the fish. And it's kind of touchy with the baits you can run with it in sizes, but I mean, you want that little bit on the end to go. Anything heavier than that is going to be too heavy for this rod. So I mostly use the bullwhips for walleyes, and then this is more of panfish, but I've caught walleyes, 18, 20-inch walleyes on these precision noodles, and they hold up to it too. The reels, I really like these Okuma reels, and I think I'm gonna switch to all Okuma reels eventually, but stuff's not cheap, so you gotta go one piece at a time. But this is something that I really like. This Shields case. You can see it's got all the compartments in here. You can keep tackle and storage. And then I think it holds like, you can fit 8 or 10, 12 rods in here. but it's all nice and sealed, waterproof. Like I've never ever had a problem with it getting wet or anything like that. And just, you know, when you're bombing around the four-wheeler or a sled, I mean, you don't have to worry about your rods breaking. You know, they're all nicely tied down in this thing. So obviously if you're buying nicer reels and rods, you're going to have a couple $100 in a setup. So it's, you know, you want something that's going to keep your stuff in good condition. But I really, really like this case. They're hard to find at Scheels, but pick one up if you can. I really like them. I'm running the Strike Master 40 volt 10-inch auger. And the reason why I went with 10-inch is for these tip downs that I use. It is so nice, especially when you're fishing big waters like Pete and Well. You know, you're talking about a 30-inch walleye coming through the hole. It's really nice to have a 10-inch hole to be able to get your hand in there and get the fish. So I didn't know if I would like that big of a hole all the time, but I actually really like jigging out of a bigger hole too. Especially when you're running your flashers down there, or cameras or whatever. You just have so much more room. You don't got to sit there and pull the transducer out every time, which is really nice, I think. But yeah, other than that, I have the Excamo 949i hub shelter. It's insulated. I really, really like that. Even fishing for myself, they're so roomy. You can fit 2 people and all your gear and everything inside of there, so you basically never have to go outside the blind. I have a Frable Bro Series flip over 2-man, and it's just really dark in there. It's hard to see. Like that Excamo lets so much light in, and I really prefer it. And I don't have to hook a sled onto the four-wheeler. I can just throw that right on the back of the four-wheeler, and I don't have to sled or anything, which is very nice when I'm by myself or just bombing out somewhere, or if it's rough ice, or you know the story. But really, really like fishing out of those hubs, and they're super easy to set up even in the wind. I mean, it's so quick. I got just a cordless drill for running the ice stakes in, and it takes about 3 minutes to get it set up, get the heater rolling, and you're good. But yeah, other than that, I got some other little small sleds for packing into backcountry sloughs, not backcountry, but backwater sloughs off the Wisconsin River and even the Mississippi. But my four-wheeler, I have set up with otter boxes, so I can fit everything inside of my boxes pretty much that I need for 2 people to go fishing, which is super nice. Keeps it dry. The boxes are lockable. If you look them up, they're really, really nice. They're expensive, but they'll last a lifetime for sure. I really, really like them. What else do we got? I mean, I got tip downs, and that's what I'm going to go over next, but I also do run tip ups also. I hardly ever use them unless I'm on like big waters like Pete and Well, or out in the Dakotas or something like that, where I'm going to be using maybe some bigger baits like black-tailed chubs. And if you've ever used those, you know they're super aggressive, and sometimes they'll pull down a tip down. It's just too much there. But so then I'll run tip ups with it. So it just kind of depends on the bait, what they want, and I go from there. But yeah, let's get down to the nitty gritty and start talking about some tip downs. Alright, we got another tip down. Okay, you want it? Oh yeah, let's see the nice fish for that. Just take it easy as long as you run out of there. Make sure you keep pressure on that. It's so hard to see in there. It's like sideways in the hole.
with the cat.
Ooh.
Kitty cat.
Cool.
Kitty cat.
Alright, we're back. Ice Pirate tip downs are what these are called. This is just basically a PVC. I spray painted orange so it's easier to see. You know, when you look out of the blind, they come just white, but it really helps to have those orange, and especially if guys are running around on four-wheelers, big places like Petenwell or Castle, just to be able to see them when sleds are coming by or whatever. But comes with a base. They come with like a piece of 2x6. But we went and got this composite material and cut circles out of it the size of a bucket. So I run this big bucket. I can put all the bases, fit right in here, and I can keep all the reels in there. When it comes to the actual rod itself, they're kind of neat. So they're collapsible. And they have this metal clasp on here that you can adjust back and forth, which is pretty huge on these tip downs, because what you're looking to do, I don't want to get hooked here, is have that just so it's a little bit of resistance that it can get. It should always stay up. It should be balanced just so it goes up, but the least amount of resistance is the better. And you're going to find that that's the key to catching these fish with tip downs, is you want the lightest bit of resistance that you can. As far as the actual like little reel, it's like a little mini bait caster, and it has a bait feeder feature on it. So basically you can just click, all the way is locked, and one back let you peel your line out, and you have a drag system right on the side. So I have that super light. I mean, a little 4-inch, 5-inch perch could take line out of that. It's really light. eBay. So if you go on there, make sure you get these gold reels. They're a little better than their other ones, and maybe like 10 bucks more. I think it's like 40 bucks per kit or whatever. First thing you do when you get it is open it up and peel all that line that's on it off it. They come with line, and it is crap line, so do that right away. I switched last year to this Northland's Bionic ice fishing line, and I run 6-pound tests on here. Never had a problem. I've caught 28-inch walleyes and 30-inch catfish, and all the way down to a 4-inch perch on this line. Kind of find that it's kind of a good in-betweener. 4 is a little too light, but 6, I mean, you got to be careful with a big walleye for sure. But I mean, you'll catch northerns on this. Basically every kind of fish that's out there that eats a minnow, you can catch them. I've even caught bluegills on this. I think I have about 20 different colors, and sometimes the color makes a difference on the bead, but it gives it that little extra flash when that minnow is swimming around, the light hits that bead. And then sinker sizes. I run like 3 different sinker sizes. And this year I'm gonna play around with the trebles. I have some just normal colored ones. I ordered some gold and red, because I run red usually on my tip ups. And that seems to work pretty good. So I got some red ones coming and some other things, but yeah, here's my weights. So I'm using size 3, 7, and 4. And the bigger ones I'm using for like deeper depths, like anything 20 feet or over, basically. Something that can get that down there pretty quick without spending 10 minutes out there freezing your hands off getting it down in the hole. So, and then for like perch and crappie, I go with just a really tiny little split shot, especially if I'm in pretty shallow water. And I like to leave that split shot up like about 8-10 inches a foot sometimes, and that really allows that bait to swim around and move around. And I especially find it's very good in the weeds even. I mean, you have to check it every probably half hour or 45 minutes that the minnow's not in the weeds wrapped up in it, but they really swim around when a fish comes and just triggers a bite really well. So that's what I really like about them. Get the line off, get new line on, get your setup like that. Then as far as checking depths. So setting depth on these is very, very important. Especially when you're talking about perch on the Mississippi or walleyes. Generally, I'm running it a foot off the bottom. So as you can see from right here, this point, when it goes down, all the way to the bottom, a walleye can take that bait all the way down with very little resistance and sit there and chew on it and eat it like they do. And which hopefully we'll get some cool footage of maybe some fish eating on it with that camera that we got at Markham. Yeah, so that's kind of the key for me is setting depths and the right hook size on there with the right bead and the right weight to get a little bit of resistance as you can. As far as the rod goes, these rods are pretty crappy. I won't lie. They're really, really stiff. So, excuse me. So when you're, I'm gonna hook this up so I don't get hit in the face. So when you're fishing with these and you come over, your tip down is down or whatever, I always, when I approach this, keep that line down. Don't, if you get any sort of resistance, sometimes a fish will spit it out. It's almost got to be a surprise to them. And when you set that hook, you got to be on the reel right away, because these rods just do not hold a load at all. So you have to keep pressure. I used to lose a lot of fish with these things, and now I'm getting to where I don't hardly lose any unless they spit it out. So just another kind of thing to think about when you're out there, and even in these deep waters like Pete and Well, where it's 30 feet deep that you're fishing, like those fish can hear you walking up. I don't know how many times, especially last year on Pete and Well, where I had to like basically tiptoe over to it because they would hear that 30 feet down and they would spit it and go. So that's another thing, you know, it's just, if it's down and as long as the line's not peeling off and it's running, just let it eat it for a minute. And, you know, when you're setting that hook, I like to just kind of bring it up till it's taut, till I feel something's there, and then really set that hook and get on the reel. But yeah, the rods are junk, but they are, I don't know, I think one of the best tip downs on the market, to be honest with you. They're super simple. They pack down small and compact. They just plain catch a lot of fish. I generally don't even like going anywhere that I can't have them out. I mean, they're perch killers on the Mississippi. And yeah, absolutely love these things. Like, they are a lot of fun, especially if you get on a good perch bite. Like, you might only jig 4 or 5 perch all day, but on these you might catch 25 or 30 perch. They work so well. Like I said, crappies, bass, northerns, walleyes, catfish. I mean, you name it, I've caught them on it. It's pretty cool. Bluegills. But yeah, so that's kind of my spiel on the tip downs. Where I think we're gonna be, it is a week before Christmas right now, so I'm hoping next Friday we're gonna be on the Mississippi fishing. So I kind of wanted to just show you guys the gear that I was running before season, because it's gonna be hectic, and I'm hoping to fish for 10 or 12 weekends in a row. So I'm not gonna have the whole winter off like I did last year, but I definitely learned a lot last year. I think I spent 430 some odd hours on the ice last year. Fished 27 straight days, sun up till sundown, and seeing the way the fish react, different places, with the bite and the temperature and fronts and everything else, was years and years and years of stuff that you don't get to see on the weekends when you're only fishing for 2 days. But if you're out there every single day, you can really kind of dial in on where it's going. And basically last year I just chased the bite wherever it was. If it was at Pete and Well, I was at Pete and Well. If it was at Castle, I was there. If it was on the Mississippi, I was there. And I fill in my in-between time on sloughs in the Wisconsin River when things get tough and everything's pressured and Swiss cheese. Then I head to the river bottoms and we go fish, unpressured fish, which is really, really fun. So I'm pretty excited about this year. We're gonna have we're gonna have a lot of content, I believe. So hopefully we get some ice rolling here this week. I would think by Friday, Christmas Eve, I'll be on the ice. I'm hoping anyways, but see you on the ice.